ever been scrolling through Goodreads and happened to come across, like, because you've read this book, we would recommend that you read whatever. And for the last few months, I've just been like screenshotting all of the ones that I see because, you know, why not? Why not? Let's keep up some good book recommendations. And today I'm going to kind of test to see if they actually are accurate. So basically, I have this huge list of potential books, and I've narrowed it down to 5, where we're gonna see if, you know, these are apt comparisons, and if, because I did happen to like this, you know, will I still like this? I don't know if that made sense, but we're just gonna see if these recommendations were actually accurate. So I have 5 books. I realized, so originally I was trying to do it like as broad across the board as possible. Some books that I like enjoyed mildly, some that I absolutely love, and throughout like different genres. And I was feeling good about my list, and like literally right now I just realized that 2 of the books that we're talking about today were recommended by like the same series because I read that. You know what, whatever. They're both fantasy romance, and I'm just in the mood to read a bit more of that. So hi, welcome to the video, and let's just very quickly go over some of these books that we're reading today. So first off, we have Fire by Jane Washington. This is a why choose, like it seems like a shifter type of academy book, and it was based off of reading the Psycho Shifter School Shifterverse series by Jasmine Mass, which if you've seen a few of my videos recently, you'll know that this is like one of my all-time favorite series. Recently, I gave every single book within it 5 stars, and I'm gonna just quickly as an aside say, just because I gave them 5 stars does not mean they're good books. I just enjoyed them a lot. These are ones 100% I will say these were not great. I would not necessarily recommend these for everyone, but I love them. So anyways, we have another why choose / academy / potentially shifter book implier, and I think this could be a decent choice. I will say though, I've realized, I opened the book and apparently the why choose aspect has like 9 men in it, which could be a bit much. That could be a few too many characters to follow. So this is book 1. And then recommended from the same series, this is where I messed up. I think technically they were recommended from different books, but same series. I did not. This was not how I wanted to do it. But we have Her Feral Beast. And quick description, this is with my life going down in literal flames. I ran from everything, from my father, from forced marriage, from my mate. Now charged with a crime I didn't commit, they are all hunting me, and they're all furious. The dangerous deputy headmaster of Animus Academy manages to catch me, and along with 3 of my 5 mates, we're taken back to the prison school they used to teach feral beasts how to be civilized. Now I'm locked up with the very men I've been trying to avoid. So once again, this has so many things in it that I like. Why choose? There's shifters. It is some kind of academy. Seems like there's actually dragons, shapeshifters in this one. I think that's what they are, and I'm excited. I think that this is like a fantastic recommendation, and I have a good feeling that this could be a good one. Never heard of it either, which is interesting. But the next one is based on the book Orbital. So I read that. I think I gave it 4 stars, and it was more of like a slice of like sci-fi book where we're just following quickly like basically a bunch of astronauts in orbit over Earth and just kind of their thoughts and musings as they're orbiting. And it was very much like, I thought it very much philosophical, just very in their head, showing that all of these different people across the world, they all had like everybody at the board was kind of the same. And I enjoyed it for like just something very and just like enjoyable. But the recommendation we have for that is called My Friends by Hisham Matar, and never heard of this one. That's actually one thing that I'm very impressed with all these recommendations. Never heard of any of them, so maybe we'll find some new favorites. But this is a luminous novel of friendship, family, and unthinkable realities of exile. One evening, as a young boy growing up in Benghazi, Khaled hears a bizarre short story read aloud on the radio about a man being eaten alive by a cat. Obsessed by the power of those words and by their enigmatic author, Khaled eventually embarks on a journey that will take him far from home to pursue a life of the mind at the University of Edinburgh. They are thrust into an open society that is light years away from the world he knew. Khaled begins to change. He attends a protest only to watch it explode in tragedy. He's injured, clinging to life, unable to leave England, much less return to the country of his birth. When a chance encounter brings him face to face with the author of the short story, he is subsumed into the deepest friendship life. Okay, this I did not actually look into this one a lot. Based kind of on the cover, I thought this was sci-fi, and based on the recommendation, but this is actually historical / literary fiction, and I guess that makes sense because again, Orbital, even though it technically took place in a sci-fi setting, aka in the International Space Station, I would have said it was very literary fiction. It was not really in any means like an actual hard sci-fi, because we were focusing entirely on, like, this is one thing that I have an issue with, is that I think there needs to be a better differentiation between books that take place using modern science, and while technically they are using science and they are a fiction, they're not including science in a fictional way, if that makes sense. So I think there needs to be like a better distinction between that. But interesting that this is literary fiction. That is like nothing that I would have really have ever chosen for myself. And to be fair, I guess I didn't really look into the description of this one that much, but interesting. Okay, we will see. We'll see how this goes. The Best Laid Plans. This was recommended by my darling bride. It was not a fantasy. It was a romance book that really actually surprised me when I read it last year because of how much I enjoyed it. I gave 5 stars. And it was basically just a marriage of convenience between a bookstore owner and a professional football player, and them just falling in love. So, recommendation, The Best Laid Plans. This is a burnt out political, nope, is that the right one? I had the wrong book actually pulled up. So we have a football player, a happy-go-lucky historian, is love against all odds in a warm, emotional romance about found family, friendship, and the restoration powers of the. So again, in the last book, we were following like a professional, I think he was a football player, and that tracks for this recommendation. So we have a retired football player, his best friend just died, and he was bequeathed a dilapidated house in northern Michigan that he doesn't want. To his surprise, it comes with a long-legged, blindly optimistic renovation manager with big ideas for the inheritance. She's passionate, irritating, and irresistible. Okay, that sounds interesting. So it sounds kind of like a potential enemies to lovers, potential close proximity because they'll both be working maybe on this house. Not bad, could be interesting. Only thing that'd be an issue with this one is that I don't tend to love books that have renovation subplots in it. Literally just like my husband's in our we talk constantly about this kind of stuff, and really like it's something that we are also very much in the in the trenches right now of trying to plan out renovations on our house. So it's one of those things that it's like comes a little bit too close to home at times, but I'm very, very excited to see if this one is similar at all to My Darling Bride. And the final recommendation is based on Every Time I Go on Vacation Someone Dies, which was just like a very fun, very self-aware, very like fourth wall breaking kind of murder mystery, where we're following the like a murder mystery novellist who is going on this press tour where she's being targeted, and it was just constantly her like really leaning into all of these mystery tropes and all of these different things that typically happen in murder mystery novels, and just really like breaking the fourth wall, addressing the audience of like, oh, as you might have noticed, this happened, or this means blah blah blah. And I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was like a super fun take on a murder mystery, and really enjoyed that. So this one, we have How to Age Disgracefully by Claire Woolley. I think I've read a book from her before, if I'm not mistaken, and I did enjoy it. So in this one, we have a senior citizen center and a daycare collide with hilarious results. So we have Lydia takes a job running the senior citizen social club 3 afternoons a week. She assumes she'll be spending her time drinking tea and playing gentle game cards. The members of the social club, however, are not at all what Lydia was expecting. So it says the seniors look deceptively benign, but when age makes you invisible, secrets are so much easier to hide. When city council threatens to sell the doomed community center building, the members of the social club join forces with their tiny friends in the daycare next door, as well as the teenage father, one of the toddlers, and a geriatric dog to save the building. Together, this group's unorthodox methods may actually work as long as the police don't catch them first. So again, I think this one will be very humorous, very fun, and I think it's very much going to be the vibes there. I don't think we're going to go into murder mystery unless things like wildly change, but I think it's just supposed to be like more of a very fun kind of silly read, which I'm excited for. I'm definitely excited for that. So those are the 5 books we'll be reading. We will see how it goes. Clearly I did not do as much research as I was planning before going into this, but I have a feeling that these could be very interesting and that we might have some good books. So I'm gonna go acquire these books, and I will come back once I've read something. All right, we have started the first book for this, which is The Best Laid Plans. And like I was saying, I don't particularly love renovations in books, and this definitely has a very heavy emphasis on that, which I think is going to take me out a little bit. But where we are in this one, we are following this man named Burke. His best friend recently passed away, and with that left him in the will the like deed/project of restoring this 200-year-old house that had been like completely falling apart, and Chris took it on basically as a passion project to restore. But it is a house that like every single aspect of it is completely falling. So Burke takes it over, and basically he doesn't want to keep this house, but he decides to, basically out of loyalty to his friend who passed away, he's going to renovate it and follow his wishes and see this restoration process go through. And he is really not, at first, really not invested in this project, does not want to go through with it, but then kind of realizing that like it's what his friend wanted, and also meeting the project manager who is in charge of the restoration itself and getting all of these renovations up to where it needs to be. He starts developing a little bit of a crush on her and decides to really stick it out. So a few things with this one. Immediately we see like a crazy attraction between our two main characters, and they're working on this project, and you can tell they are very into each other like instantly. Burke also, so he's a recently retired football player, hence 100% where I see this recommendation come from, which I'll talk about that in a second. But he's a retired football player, and he now has all this free time, all this like whatever, and he has recently moved in with his sister to kind of spend more time with her and her children. So he is alternating between this home that he has with his sister in Florida and flying out to Michigan to do this house rent. And he is originally just going to leave it all in the hands of Charlotte, the project manager, let her do everything. But as you see, he's going back more and more because he wants to see her, and he's like saying that he wants to be more invested in this project. But it is very much, you can tell just that he wants to see her, wants to spend time with her, he wants to be involved more with her. And yeah, so that's kind of where the relationship. One thing, I'm gonna have to look into it because I think there might be another book in this series. But when the friends passed away, they left a young daughter, and we've had one quick scene where we're talking with like the guardian of that, where it's the daughter was left to the wife's best friend and another friend of the father who passed away. So I think there must be, I'm gonna have to look into it, but I think there must be a book that's centered on their relationship and the two of them being forced to raise this child together, because I thought it was weird that there was so little mentions of this child who was left behind and now her new guardian relationship. Like, it does low-key feel a little weird that we're not getting more about it. So I feel like there must be another book that's going to center that. But yeah, where I think that this recommendation is coming from, I have to say, actually 100% get the vibes of My Darling Bride. Like, very story itself, different tropes, different kind of things, but I see the same vibe in it. I see the same vibe in the writing, in the characters. Like, I very much understand why somebody who really liked My Darling Bride like I did would like this one. And I don't know if this one will necessarily be the same 5-star that this one was. Honestly, right now I'm feeling that it very much will not be, but it still might end up being like a decently high 4-star. And I do think that this recommendation is very solid. Like, I would absolutely say that like people who enjoyed, or somebody who read one of these books would probably like the other one. So that makes sense. That really makes sense. And I do see where this would come from. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going on this one. Yeah, having a decent time, really having a decent time. Not the best thing I've ever read, but pretty solid. Okay, I am done the best laid plans. And while, like I was saying, I very much understand this comparison, I very much felt similar vibes to this one as I did our recommended book. I, at the same time, don't know if I like really felt anything extraordinary for this one. I felt that it was very much fine. I enjoyed it a decent amount. I thought the writing was really good, but at the same time I wasn't 100% invested in the story. So it just had a lot of things, I guess, that I don't know, that didn't really work. Like this whole construction aspect, that is never going to be something for me. I spend too much of my day-to-day life talking about construction. I don't really want to read that in a book. It's the same way like a lot of books about like influencers and stuff or content creation, don't like them. And I wasn't super invested in the romance. I think that it in itself was perfectly fine, but didn't really do anything that had me gushing, didn't really have anything that made me like overly invested or deeply caring about the characters. Like, it felt a little bit too surface level for the type of stuff that I like and the type of stuff that I get really invested in. Like, I don't know if it was just a disconnect between the characters or what, but like I didn't really feel it. I do have to say that. So I like the writing a lot. Very excited to read the sequel to this one because we are following what I'm pretty sure is going to be a relationship between two characters who have dual custody of this daughter who is left behind. So basically, like the start of this book was our male main character's best friend died, and then we learned that his daughter was left to a friend of his and a friend of his wife's. So they have dual custody, and I'm excited to see where that one goes because I think that would be a very like interesting trope to follow. So that one, yeah, I think that one will go well. This one maybe wasn't quite for me, quite the tropes for me, quite the storyline, but like again, like I said, writing very good. I'm starting next on plier, which, oh my god, I realized, like, I keep saying plier, it's plie, like the ballet move, and I'm realizing this now because I looked at an alternative cover of this book art and it was very clearly a ballet dancer. And also looking at the other titles, they are all ballet moves slash our main character is a dancer. And I keep, like, in my mind, every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, it's plier. No, it's plie. And like, I'm gonna make this mistake like a million times over, literally just because in my head, this is all I can associate it. But I have started plie. And this is a weird world. So we have all these magical creatures. They are basically organized by their ranking within society slash their power availability. So we have alpha, betas, delta, omega, and sigmas. And in this world, so there's a human world and all of these magical people, they live within, like, I don't know if they're called them confines or like these little like camps, kind of basically, like they're in these gated communities, which have the, they say it's for their protection slash the protection of humans. But apparently, like, within these communities, conditions are terrible. But basically, the most powerful, the most elite of the people are given an opportunity to go to this university. It is called Ironside. I'm really bad with names. And when they get there, so most elite are selected. They are selected slash invited to go to this university, which is a huge reality TV show that basically people who are there, they are filmed 24/7 because this is the entertainment to the masses. And being at this school, one, it does teach you like about your ability, but at the same time, it is for the future stars of the world to emerge. So there's this huge competition. This is kind of silly, but like I'm into the drama of it. So the reality TV show, they just want dramatic things happening. And then there's this huge competition in the final years where the winners go on to be like the elites of the year, and they basically are expected to then go on and be like mega superstars. So our main character we're following, her father was the elite of his year. He's an alpha, and basically the vibe I'm getting is that he went on to be like this really insanely famous actor who was then shitty to his family. But I'm like thinking just like mega famous, like Brad Pitt style, like huge superstar. And that is basically like what you are guaranteed. You happen to do well in this university, do well within the media, like if the reality TV show is invested in you. So she's there. She, despite having an alpha father, is a sigma, which they have an ability that they're able to like basically take people's emotions out of them. So they can like go in and take your pain, take your turmoil, take all of your sad feeling, like absorb it into them. So while sigmas are incredibly useful for things like that, at the same time, they are not necessarily powerful. They don't have like a flashy, exciting power, and they aren't really considered like, you know, well placed within society. They're also like, yeah, they're very much seen as like the bottom of society because they're just there. Like sigmas don't necessarily use their power very often because it comes with pain to themselves. So in order to be exploited, or to not be exploited, come on, we have a baby. So in order to not be exploited, they don't really use their power that often and don't really let people see it. Main character, she is now in this world. She is a very accomplished like dancer, musician, kind of things like that. But at the same time, because she's a sigma, like the reality TV shows are not interested in her at all until she starts to form an unlikely friendship with an alpha. And it is going in an interesting route because of this, she is now suddenly being like popular within the TV and all of these things. And a lot of other people are targeting her because they do not like that she has this attention. Yeah, I'm having fun with it. Honestly, I'm having a blast. The drama is ridiculous. The story, just in general, ridiculous. The idea of like some reality TV show just filming all of these supernatural creatures, crazy. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a great time. Okay, so I have finished plie. Oh my god. Even though I know that this is plie, not plier, in my head I'm just a dumb bitch and I will always stay one. But yeah, I'm done that one. And I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I think that this was a fantastic book. It was weird. The drama was weird. The whole premise was weird. But I like that. Was it fantastically written? No. But was it entertaining? Yeah. And you know what? That's all I want. I just genuinely want to be entertained by a book a lot of the time. I want to have a fun, ridiculous plot, a ridiculous, high stakes reality TV show. Sure, why not? A nonsensical ranking system of power and poorly explained magic system in general. Sure, you know what? Why not? Why not? Throw me in. I'm down. I have 0 issues with that. And honestly, I just had a blast. That is all I can say, is that I had fun with this one. Towards the end, I will say, I got really confused. The plot kind of lost me. I really don't understand where we're going with it, but that's fine. Also, it seems like it's going to be a wide shoes with 10 men, which is ridiculous. That is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. When I read a wide shoes this romance, I want like 5 max. This is gonna be wild. I also like 100% confused all of the characters. At a certain point, every single one of them melded together in my head, and I don't know if I can distinguish who was who. Slash, I think there was also some of these 10 characters that like, I don't even think they were on page, some of them, or we just got references here and there. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I had a fun enough time that that doesn't bother me. And I will say that doesn't happen often. Usually I get really, really bogged down on that and it really bothers me. This one decided to just 100% go for the vibe and be like, you know what? I have no clue who any of these people are. I don't care. Also, I think with this many characters, you can't really let yourself be bogged down and like really, really like that nitty gritty about it. So yeah, I had a great time. Honestly, that's all I can say. I had fun. And yeah, genuinely enjoyed this one. It was ridiculous. The drama was ridiculous. The love stories ridiculous, but entertaining. So there we go. Solid recommendation is all I have to say. Next book we have picked up is, what is it called? How to Age Disgracefully. And can I remember for the life of me what the recommendation was? No, let me see. Okay, so recommendation was Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies, which was a very silly thriller slash mystery kind of book. And okay, I have to say, vibes are fitting. Vibes do fit. This one is not a thriller. It is not really a mystery either, but it is quirky and kind of weird and silly. And I think that those vibes kind of really, really fit. So in this one, we're basically following a group of elderly people who are all extremely lonely, very isolated, and they all decide to join this seniors group that recently opened up in their like community. And for all of them, they kind of like don't really have much going on in their lives. So this, it seems to very quickly kind of become like the epicenter of their life and like really where, you know, all of their focus and energy goes. And it's really sad, especially because we're following our main character at the beginning, Daphne. I would say she's the main character, where she's 70, and you can see for like, she says the last 15 years of her life, she basically hasn't talked to anyone. She hasn't had any friends. She's only left her house like maybe once, maybe twice a week. She doesn't trust people. And she finally, like on her 70th birthday, decides that she is going to try and make a friend. And she sees this advert, and that's what makes her go. And honestly, it's just really sad. It's really sad to think about like how many people live like this, and that it is 100% such a prevalent thing in society too. Like it is, the care for seniors is really, really not there. But anyways, back to the plot. So all these people, they join the community center. They join this group. They very quickly become kind of intertwined in each other's lives. And, you know, they don't really have that many other people in their lives. They become close quickly. They also, though, unfortunately learn that this community center and this area is severely lacking funds. So there is a basically decision going out where either they can raise like a certain amount of money for repairs, or the building will be sold off and converted into condos. And I think it's like $80,000 or $100,000 that they need to raise. They do not think this can happen. They kind of decide to come up with this plan, working with a nursery that's also in this building, to host a Christmas play and try to gain some money like for the community because of that. And I think the entire plot of this is going to be just ridiculous hijinks of these seniors trying to gain money and find a way to stay this community center because it is quickly becoming like the most important thing in their lives. I'm enjoying it. Like I have to say, it's quirky, it's fun, it's over the top and ridiculous in so many ways, and it's definitely enjoyable. Like it's a very, very fun, silly read in that sense. And yeah, I'm having a great time, to be very, very honest. So good recommendation, I think. Oh, the little like, is it an owl? Yeah, is it an owl? Oh, that's a book. That's cool. Just gonna very quickly get ready with you while we talk about the book that I finished. So quick inspo for today. I really want to do something kind of pastel in the eyes. I'm feeling colorful again. I am back in my color era. And I mean, I'm very much not going anywhere today. I literally, the whole plan for today is to garden, so it doesn't really matter how it turns out. But I have just been in the mood lately to start playing with makeup some more and doing some fun looks, because I've been very much like as boring as possible for a little bit now. But I don't know, I'm feeling, maybe it's the nice summer air and like the fact that it's, you know, sunny all the time, but I'm actually feeling like playing with makeup and experimenting a little bit more. So I'm using, this is Beauty by Joseon, their tinted SPF. I have the shade LN110. I also have I have so many shades from them. They sent me their whole range, which I'm very grateful for, but at the same time like incredibly wasteful for how many they sent me. But it is a very beautiful tinted SPF. I love the way it sits on the skin and looks, but yeah, I have a bit too many of these. I really disliked this e.l.f. Halo Glow contour for a long time, but recently come around to it, and I think it just maybe like the shade is finally working on me. Like I'm finally a little more tan. Something about it. It's finally working like a little bit better for what I actually want, so I'm happy with that. But let's just contour it. And what I want to talk about is that I finished reading How to Age Disrespectfully. I think that's what it's called. I'm really not good with book names, but I really deeply enjoyed this one. I have to say, it was heartwarming. It was like one of those like really feel good books. Like you went in and very much just everything about it was sweet. It was silly. It was kind of ridiculous. But those are all things that really happen to work well for me. Like I tend to enjoy a book that's over the top. I tend to enjoy a book that it does not take itself seriously. I like this absolute ridiculousness and just following the crazy antics of people. Also using this is the new ColourPop Weightless liquid blush. They just came out with a shimmer version that I've been using, and I'm using the shade Princess Ave. I really like this. I tend to overplay quite a bit, but I really enjoy this. So yeah, main plot of this book, following a group of elderly people who are involved in this social committee because they are trying to basically just make friends. Like all of them are a little lonely. They don't really have much going on in their life. So when the local like community center started like a seniors group, all of them kind of jumped on the chance and very quickly got like really into it. Became like not even friends, but like very quickly like almost family with everyone involved. Like they got very entrenched in each other's lives and started very deeply caring for each other too, which I love this heartwarming stuff. Like it is something that I always love to see, and of course it gets me every time. So this community center also houses a nursery, and I think it's one that's like very subsidized. It's very cheap for the people who are involved, and we're following a teen father whose daughter goes to this nursery as well, and he's very much like, he's recently started to realize that you know, he might be able to start to have a bit of a future outside just having a daughter, which is kind of what he seems to have thought, because he accidentally got like a girl pregnant. She immediately, well, she decided to give birth, and then basically afterwards dropped the baby on his doorstep and was like, peace, I'm out. She's your responsibility. So he and his mother have been raising this girl and very heavily relying on this community center as well for that. So he teams up with the seniors as well. So part of the whole plot, like one of the seniors starts helping him babysit. They start working together to come up with this crazy plan that they're going to enter a dog talent show to try and raise money, try and win this competition to get the prize money, which is just enough money to potentially save the community center from going under. And it's kind of ridiculous, but like so sweet. Like it's hilarious too. There's like, you know, just a lot of crazy hijinks, way more crime than you would expect to be involved in it. And again, like just everyone kind of quickly becoming family and all of these things. So I think I'm going to use a combination of Le Jardin by Musée Beauty, which they are out of. They have been closed down for so long, and I'm so sad about it, because they did some of the prettiest palettes ever. This is like, I'm sure like 4 years old at this point, 4 or 5 years, but they did all like painting and museum inspired stuff. And then I have the Ace Beauté Oceanic too, which I might incorporate some of these like greens. I'm feeling color. I'm feeling very much color in my life. So yeah, it was just like, it was silly, it was ridiculous, it was heartwarming, it was sweet, like all these things that, to be fair, I think I kind of expected to go into this one very much based on the one book I've read by Claire Pulley in the past as well. Like that one was very heartwarming. It was all about like the Authenticity Project, which was again like all about people who are lonely and trying to find meaningful connections and all these things. You know, they're just a good heartwarming time. I don't think it necessarily has the exact same vibes as Every Time I Go on Vacation Someone Dies. That one was, again, it was heartwarming, it was silly, like the antics, the silly antics, the kind of ridiculousness, definitely there. The slight solving a mystery that isn't really that crazy, like things like that, kind of there. Sort of an apt description, but at the same time I think it's like a little bit different vibes. Still fun for sure, and I definitely enjoyed both those books, clearly. So I'm giving this one 4 stars. I think it was pretty decent, and I'm definitely happy that I read it. And then I have also started Her Feral Beast, which, I'll be fair, I'm like very slightly into this one. I think I'm like 10% in, so I really don't have a crazy amount to say, but I am enjoying it. And I'll lightly try to describe what I do know. So in this world we have shifters. There's like the shifting ability tends to run within families and creates like legacies, I guess. I don't know. So our main character, her father is known as kind of like the Serpent King, I guess. I think her family is they all transform into snakes. And when she hits her majority, which is the age that people start shifting, she does not shift into a snake like expected, but something else. We do not know what she shifts into, but it is a big enough deal that her father decides to disown her, send her away, and basically pretend she doesn't exist anymore. So she, at the same time, she undergoes this like, I would say kind of like goes to see an oracle, we could say that. And she announces that she, like, who her mates in this world would be. So she has, I think, 5 mates. All of them are known as being some of the most deadly, insane type of shifters in this world. Like there's a dragon shifter, there's a shark, there's a werewolf alpha. Like they are people who I don't know if we know right away, but we do quickly learn that they had been in this asylum for like the insane and / prison. And she is in crazy danger because of this, because they're so powerful. And her father very much does not want the world to know that these are her mates too, because seemingly it will give a hint to what her actual power is, which I'm thinking, I don't think this is a spoiler. It's like, I really don't know. I think she has the ability to change into any type of animal. That's kind of the hint that I'm getting, is that because her father was a snake, her mother was like some kind of bird. I think that something messed up within the genetics so that she is now able to shift into any type of animal, or more than one, which apparently is something that just does not happen in this world. So that's the intro. And then we pick up, I think 5-10 years later, where she is on the run and some of her mates are chasing after her. We don't really know why. We don't know what's going on. We don't know the history of this, but we do know that they are hunting her, and presumably, well, actually, I don't even know where they're going to take her. I don't know if they're taking her to prison. I don't know if they're trying to like force her into a mating bond with them or what, but they are chasing her and she's on the run. So really do not know much else about that, aside from it's a world where all these types of shifters exist. There is a lot going on. Seems pretty cool. A lot of different types of magical shifters. And we are following a main character who has some of the most dangerous, deadly mates to exist in this world, which is something I can definitely get on board with. I'm into it, very into it, I have to say. Again, very not far at all, but I'm excited to see where it comes. So I'm just gonna finish off this eye look. I'm gonna add some shimmer, mascara, eyeliner, everything. Then I'll come back and let you know how it looks. I'm not sure how good the light is, but that's how my makeup look turned out, which I think is super cute. I love the colors. So I'm gonna go do some gardening and yeah, keep continuing on Her Feral Beast. I'm really excited. Really like having a great time with this one so far. So really excited to see where this kind of goes. So I wanted to check in now that I'm about 40-ish% into Her Feral Beast, and I'm having such a good time. Like, I am truly having the best time ever. This has gone into a prison magical school, and hell yeah, those are things I love. So basically, our main character, she's on the run. She gets captured. She gets captured by, well, she's on the run from 2 separate people. One is her group of mates who have been contracted by her father to bring her in, presumably to be executed. And the other is the headmaster of this prison school where feral beasts go to kind of learn learn how to reintegrate into society. She ends up being captured by the headmaster and brought into the school, and her mates kind of like go along as well because they're like, shit, she's gonna be in the school and we need to find a way to break her out. So we are now in this magical school and they are trying to plot to find a way to break her out and bring her to her father to collect this bounty that they've been hired for. And she is also trying to desperately find a way to escape. And at the same time, this school is so much fun because we have all of these feral beasts, which mean all of these magical creatures who are just like savage and insane. And by magical creature, they're all shifters, but they have different shifter categories, I guess. Like there's the bird, the cats, the wolves, like things like that. And all of them have different personality traits associated. But in order to be in this school, you basically are a criminal or you cannot control your beast. So things are wild. There's constant fighting, constant power dynamic issues, constant just like savagery. And I'm loving it. I'm having such a great time. It really, really is satisfying in so many things. Like I love a shifter romance. I love kind of a magical school type of thing. I love why I choose romances. They have a big mating group. So many things that I love are working perfectly for me in this one, thankfully. I'm so happy. And I am done her feral beasts. I had such a great time with this. Oh my god, this one was everything I really wanted it to be. Very, very honest. It just hit like every single check mark that could potentially be out there. It worked in so many ways for me, and truly like a fantastic recommendation. It had everything, like the shifters, the packs, the different like alpha dynamics, the fact that it's why I choose and they form this big pack relationship. So many things, so many great things happening in this. Like I really cannot wait to get to the next book too, because there were so many things revealed towards the end of this one that just like were kind of batshit crazy in the best possible way. There were some reveals that were just wild. There are some things I cannot wait to see what it means for our characters, and I'm just really excited to keep going in this series, which feels so wonderful. I love when I come out of a book just thus excited, and I think there's so many more dynamics that we will be exploring, so many cool things that we'll be exploring. And I do think the next book will also be taking place in this prison school, which yay, I love this setting. Well, as long as they stay in it, I'm happy. And another super interesting thing is that we learn very early on that our main character has 5 mates, and in this book we are really only following 3 of them. We are following them as they have made a deal with her father to basically trap her and bring her into him, because she's also on trial for murder because she was framed for having murdered this husband that she was sold to. And there's so many things going on with that. And again, like we're only following 3 of the mates, so there is so much more that could happen as the other ones are introduced. Like things can wildly change. The dynamics are going to wildly change, and I cannot wait. And I'm already like, I downloaded the second book on KU, and I can like almost 100% guarantee by the time this video's out, I will have read multiple more books in this series because I'm so into it and I'm so excited. This was wonderful. And this really, like if you're into the same type of reading taste as me, you would love this too. So I'm giving it 4 stars, not quite a 5, but I have a very strong suspicion that later books in this series will end up being 5. So wonderful. And now we just have one more book to read for this, which I've kind of been putting off because I do think it's going to be emotional, but we'll see how it goes. So I am very disappointed coming in with this update. Like I finished My Friends. I didn't really feel like updating as I was reading throughout it, but I am very disappointed to come in and say that this one wasn't really for me. And I was really hoping that, you know, this would be so much more, because we're really following, or I thought we were going to follow more in depth, the Libyan Revolution and a lot of what happened basically during the multiple revolutions throughout the Middle East. And I thought we were going to get a lot more into, I guess, the politics and what it was really like for somebody to be living through this. But I don't know, like it just didn't quite deliver on what I was hoping for. So in it, we're following a young man. He leaves Libya and goes to the UK to start studying. He gets involved in a protest, and because of that, basically is unable to return home. So he is in Britain the entire time, kind of witnessing the events that are happening in his homeland and unable to really intervene. And it, like, at some time, it was kind of interesting because we did get to see a bit of like what his thoughts were being so far away, but also like knowing that his family is going through everything back home and really unable to intervene and unable to do much about it. But it felt like so many of the events, because of that, because he was so like disconnected from a lot of it, it wasn't really like as central to the plot as I thought it would be. It kind of was just him like hearing letters and reacting to that, and he wasn't necessarily like dealing with a lot of the after effects, I found. And I really wanted to see more of, I guess, the impacts on the people and hear more about the revolution itself, which if you have any good book recommendations for what happens during the Arab Spring, like let me know. I'm thinking like, I know When the Lemon Tree Grows happens during the Syrian war, and just stuff like that. Like I'm interested in learning a lot more about these, and also a lot more just, you know, books that take place in the Middle East, because I don't find they're necessarily the easiest to find. But yeah, it didn't really work for me. Like it's primarily also it was following his friendships and the relationships that were central to him, and I just wasn't necessarily that invested in any of them. Didn't really connect with the writing as much as I was hoping to. So it was one that I really was going into expecting it would be a 5-star, and I think it's probably a 3. Like it did have some interesting things happen, some things that I cared about, like some relationships that I did start to care about, but it just didn't deliver to quite the level that I was really hoping for, unfortunately. So 3 stars, not quite the best thing, but I do 100% see the comparison that it was to Orbital, where that was very much just dealing with human interconnection, relationships, and just really musings on personhood, that type of thing. So I really 100% see why this was recommended. Unfortunately, it just didn't fully click for me. So, but with that, we have officially finished this video, which very happy. This has taken way longer than I would like to admit to film, but I think overall the recommendations were pretty solid. I can definitely see the comparisons and what led from one thing being recommended to the other. I'm very happy in particular about the romantasy series I started, because I am very excited to continue on with both of them. And I think if I keep looking at these recommendations on Goodreads, I think I can definitely find some things that potentially could really work for me. Let me know if you want me to do this as like a continuing series as well, because I have screenshots of dozens of book recommendations right now, basically, that were recommended by Goodreads, and you know, I had fun with this. I would really like to continue just trying to pull from those and seeing if they work and where the comparison lies. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you haven't already, I would love if you would consider subscribing, and hopefully I will see you in a video very soon.